Everyone please stand. I'll ask Pastor Charlie Burton from the Bethel Assembly of God to come up and lead us in prayer.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, we praise you for an opportunity to invoke your wonderful name tonight. Father, we thank you for such a spirit of expectancy, a great expectancy has come upon our city, churches and businesses. And Father, we thank you for opening the windows of heaven upon Cleveland. And tonight, Lord, as we do this again, as we do business and enact commerce in this city, we ask you again to open the windows of heaven, lead us and guide us, and you be glorified in everything that we say and do. And Father, send the rain. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Everyone face the American flag. Salute the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to introduce our new city secretary. This is Miss Carolyn May. She started today.
Yeah.
All right. Unless there's one or two. Item 1 is public comments. Jimmy Rodriguez.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and thank you for instructing me. I came here just to request batting cages at the park, city park. I was had the opportunity to go watch these kids play, and I overlooked their facilities where they were playing. Everybody has batting cages. Why should our kids have the same advantage as all the other kids? And plus, we get them hitting balls. That's time that they're spending there instead of in the street. They don't learn how to do. That's, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Carrie Duggar, please.
My name is Carrie Duggar, and I am on the board for the Cleveland Historical Society and Museum. And I just want to first say thank you to the city for allowing us to use city property for the museum. But we do have some concerns that I just wanted to bring up. I've talked with Marilyn about it. She asked me to come tonight and talk about it. We have a leak in the back of the building that's not allowing us to utilize any of that area because it would harm our artifacts. And so we would really like to get that done, get that repaired. And they have done some work on it, but still not fixed. I think it's maybe been an issue since maybe the city was there. So. And then our computer and our technology equipment and software is really, really outdated. It's not allowing us to be able to keep good records of our artifacts. And so we would like to see if maybe the city could help us in getting that updated and keeping it up, like maybe they have IT people that can help us. And then our lighting in several areas needs some maintenance. We'd also like to move forward with the mural that's already been approved for the site. We really feel like that's going to help our exposure to the community and to visitors. I meet people every day that say, we have a museum. Yes, we have a museum. And then we're also in desperate need of volunteers. A volunteer to be in charge of. And we need people to donate 3 hours a month. That's all, just 3 hours a month to help us keep the museum open on Fridays and Saturdays from 11 to 2. So anybody that is willing to do that, contact myself or Pat Blakey, and we'll get you on the schedule to just donate 3 hours of your time once a month. And you don't have to know anything about Cleveland, because we'll show you where everything is and train you on it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you, appreciate it. Anyone else have any public comments? Anyone else? We'll close the public comment. Item 2 is reports and comments from the city council, mayor, or city staff. Fred? Yeah, well, we can start with Carol.
All right. I want to discuss some things that I know we got a new secretary. I know she needs practice. I'm going to give you a list of things I'd like to see on our agenda upcoming. That is, I'd like an update on my airport one-way lights. Update on our police evidence building.
Is that building?
Yes.
Building?
An update on our train depot. An update on our stencil pavilion. And I know we just had the 4th of July fireworks, but I think we need to discuss that for next year and how we come down this year. Like I said, I'd like for those to be on the agenda so we can discuss it next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Desiree? Thank you. Carol?
Just wanted to say that the Ollie's opening was a grand success
Oh, yeah.
and attended by millions, it seemed. And that the dedication to the ball field Sunday was really nice and moving and special.
I agree on partly on all of that. I've never seen that parking lot full like that. Well, in Walmart, the old Walmart was there, during fireworks, but other than that, I've never seen anything like that. That was outstanding. And the sports complex, naming that after Albert Chop, was outstanding, great. And Jennifer, you did a great job. I got to take all the credit, but Jennifer actually did all that. We're going to get a bigger sign, right, Jennifer?
Yes.
Marilyn?
I have nothing, sir, thank you.
Okay.
Those are had done.
Man, I know you probably don't have a whole lot.
Excited to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Hey, Danny, come on up here. Danny's been with us for a long time. I don't think he thought he was going to ever get off the council because we kept having meetings and meetings after the fact. But I got his plaque. Let me get it in there.
Big check.
Yeah, you see that one? That's a huge check.
Going hot though, doesn't matter, but get one drink. Water, yeah.
David, this is to City of Cleveland and sincere appreciation, your dedication, your service as council member for the City of Cleveland, Danny, for 2022. You know it's been an honor and a pleasure. And you've been to school This is just a little something, a big old check though. Appreciate everything you did. You're gonna keep this down.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Dad.
Y'all take care. All right.
Don't leave, Danny, don't leave.
Y'all take care.
Later, Dan.
All right. I'll be seeing y'all out the road. Take care.
Robert, you got any
Yeah,
comments?
I want to make one more comment about, what Carolyn mentioned about Ollie's. I talked to the corporate people that went back, and they came in from out of state everywhere. But they said that Cleveland outdid any of their grand openings out of any store. So it put them number one in Cleveland as their grand openings in dollar numbers and, the attendance. So that says a lot for us. Yes, sir.
Ashley, do you want to go over your, Ashley, you want to go over what your, it's back to school?
Actually, we have several events that are coming up. Starting with, we have a community, first aid event that we have coming up on July the 22nd. That's gonna be this Friday from 1 to 3. It's a first aid safety course that we've teamed up with Don't Skip a Beat. So we'll be offering that to the community as another outreach and engagement for community members. It's $20 for the registration fee. And, wanting to make sure we have a splash pad now. So wanting to make sure, grandparents and parents, or grandparents and aunts and uncles are watching kiddos during the summer, or even some older kids are watching their younger siblings. So we want to make sure that we're offering some type of first aid and we're offering it to the community. That's going to be this Friday. We also have Food Truck Fusion that's coming up on July the 28th. We actually have 5 trucks that are signed up for this coming Food Truck Fusion, so we're very excited about that. Cousin May lobsters will be back for those that like Cousin May lobsters. So we'll have them back. Camp Gladiator is also offering morning classes Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. They're at the Stansel Expo Center. They start at 8:30. And so it's another location for them to offer some community engagement as far as workouts are going on with Camp Gladiator. And we also have a senior health fair that's coming up in October, but we're already gearing up for that as well. That is going to be on October the 25th. It's going to be offered gearing strictly towards our senior community. We never really have anything that kind of is geared just towards our seniors, and we have a lot of seniors in our community, so we'll be offering blood pressure checks, diabetes, mental health, cholesterol, as well as home care and insurance information. So that's the senior health fair. And then our back to school, which school is starting earlier this year, August the 10th. So the second week of August this year. So we are doing we've teamed up with the Health Center Southeast Texas this year to give away 500 backpacks. And we have vendors that will be set up inside of the Civic Center with pens, pencils, notebook paper, folders, scissors, glue, everything that you can think of to get these kids a head start back to school. And that will be Friday, August the 5th from 5 to 7.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. I want to introduce, I know everybody here, I'm happy that you're here, but I'd like to introduce our president of the school board, Willie Carter, and Kelly Axton. They're both here from the school tonight.
Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Actually, how are we getting this information to the public?
Through our social media, which is Facebook, city's Facebook, Civic Center also has a Facebook. We have flyers that are set up in our lobby area as well. And then some of the events are also put on the bottom of the water bills as well to get out to the community. And then also on our e-sign.
Chamber too.
And chamber, yes, and chamber blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, did you want to say anything? I wanted to applaud y'all for what you did with the Schaefer did with the detectives and clearing that cold case from, was it 8 years or how long ago? There.
Thank you, Mayor, this afternoon for the opportunity just to speak to the audience and council, those who are present. On a good note, I'm sure all of us would be happy to know that there's an active shooting, of course, going at the high school this week. And of course, DA and the company that's doing it, got a nice, doing a really good program. It's an intense course and it's being held again at the junior high. It's a week-long course. And we have 5 officers there in the job, as well as several officers from around the county. and a couple of cities around us. So I'm sure everyone knows is probably having that force here in our community and officers getting trained up after the involving case and a lot of other. So we're learning a lot and going through that course. And I think the other parents that have grandkids of their own, I'm sure each of y'all have kids, grandkids, and friends, and kids that go to that school. So we're training and preparing for such an incident. Pray to God. Yes. I just want to be sure that we know what.
When is that?
It's going this week.
It started on the 18th, I believe.
Yes. Also, it's been pretty intense. I think they went to a couple of local locations here in town today to train. We tried to get into the theater and get some training done in case something happened there. And we also went to Cornerstone Church this morning and did some training at that location. So there's a lot of practical, real life type training that those guys are going through. But I just want you to know and should feel comfortable as school approaches that we are preparing. Hope we've never seen something like that. One other quick thing on a good note, we received a $2,000 grant today from Center Point Energy. Bob came by, we filled out a little grant for community safety work, initiative plan, and put in like a 100-word essay, and we were part of several other communities that received it. So I just wanted to have a witness that I was giving this to giving this to my finance director. On a great
You
note.
trust that?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, appreciate it. Any other comments? Next item was consent agenda. We've only got one item, that's to approve the monthly financial report. Council's desire.
Mayor, I would like to have a discussion on this. I'd ask Ms. Guerrero to please, she had talked to me about some concerns she had, and I'd like for her to address those with the rest of the council.
You're
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'm gonna go over some projects. I know we have new council members, and I would like to update you on some of the projects. Last year, around this time, we went off the bond to help.
Can you, I can't hear you.
It's not working. So anyway,
I'll give you mine.
Okay, so last year, around this time, we went out for bond, to build the fire station and to be able to do other city projects. We went off for $8 million. From that $8 million, it was split out to $4.3 million was set aside for the new fire station, 1.6 was set aside for the paving project, 100,000 was set aside for the train depot, and then $2 million was set aside for the new water tower and the rehab water tower 1 and 2. So I'm gonna start with the new elevated storage tank. This is at the north side. This is getting funded out of ARPA funds, which means American Rescue Plan Act. It's getting funded out of there and then out of revenue bond. So we have, and I'm just wanting to let y'all know that engineering is Strand Associates and the contractor is Phoenix Fabricators. So total construction is $2,401,290. From that money, $2,043,278 is what's gonna come from ARPA money, which pretty much covers the whole construction cost of the new elevated storage tank. From the grant money, what we're paying is, we're paying the engineering portion, and then grant administration, and then miscellaneous expense. So from that, we should have left over $639,583. However, $243,530 was used to replace a water and sewer line at Linnea Alfred. From Field to Linnea Alfred, I'm not sure if you remember that, Mayor.
I thought that come out of the $1 million we borrowed for the roads.
No, because it was water sewer, we had to get it out of we can't make some money up with water and general fund.
Yeah, I remember us doing that.
Yes, okay, so then from that money, there's only $396,051 left over. That money is gonna be used for the 12-inch water line. I'm not sure how much is gonna come in tomorrow. I believe we have that. The bid opening is tomorrow, so we will know more tomorrow about how much is actually the 12-inch is gonna cost us. But I just wanted y'all to be aware that we may have, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to budget more money out of the capital programs, line item to finish this project. The second one is the water plant 1 and 2 for the elevated storage tanks. We did the rehab project. This cost us $1,054,200, and this got funded out of 1 million revenue bonds, and then capital programs $54,200. It's out of the line item of water sewer, so it's cash money from water sewer fund. Third project is the fire station. So the fire station, our architect is BRW and our contractor is NNT Construction. Total estimated cost is of $320,890. That's the total amount of the project. In 2022, we funded $425,000 out of cash money, and then the bond money is 4.8, almost 4.9. However, leftover money, yes, I cannot, was money. So for this year, I'm gonna request an additional $156,450 from cash money to be able to finish the construction of the fire station. Because the whole construction of the fire station, only the construction, is $4,869,000. We only have $4,741,000. Remember, we only put on the bond money that it was 4.3, which we saved money doing the paving project, so that's how we were able to transfer the money over so we can use it for the fire station. So, budget time comes, I'm gonna ask for $156,450, plus we also need to furnish that fire station. So that's gonna be an additional money too.
Which we knew that.
Yes, because we didn't, that was part of, we were gonna get cash money to be able to furnish the fire station.
Fire truck.
Yeah, the ladder truck.
Okay.
Okay, Sean's not here, so I need to get with him to see where we at on that, but we already have money. It's sitting in an account. We're just waiting for it to be billed. Okay, and the next project is, this one has been completed, but I wanted to bring it up to you just so y'all know about it. It was the paving project that was the $1,479,491. $1,158,960 was funded out of bond money, general fund, and then $243,531 was funded out of revenue bond. That's the money that I used from the revenue bond water sewer. And then cash money for street resurfacing out of the street resurfacing line item is the $77,000. So that's where I have the leftover money for the $441,000 to transfer to the fire station to be used. but this project has been completed. But I just wanted to bring it up because it kind of goes hand in hand with the fire station, because I transfer money to the fire station. And then we have the train depot, which our engineer is BRW. We only set aside $100,000 for this. Phase 1 is gonna cost us $58,341. That's not including the moving of the depot. So we're gonna have to budget more money for this project if we wanna continue to, or go forward with it.
We gotta get it moved.
Yes.
We've gotta move.
And then the Stanso Expo is also BRW, and then the contractor is to be determined, because it was supposed to be a packet where we do the Stanso Expo, the depot, and the police station all together, so we can bring down the price. So that's in the works. But estimated cost for that is $680,545. Well, we only funded $325,000 out of the hotel fund, so we still need an additional $355,545. Which we'll have to figure out where this is gonna come out, because hotel cannot fund the whole project.
Yeah, right. Well, and we'll work on that in the budget.
Yes, we'll work on that. The police evidence room and the generator combined is a total cost of, that we budgeted for that is $750,000. And then this is all getting funded out of general fund. We are still in the first phases of the project, and we met with BRW like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, I believe so. And they were talking about the soil being too soft. And so we're probably gonna need additional funds for that. I'm not sure how much. I sent an email to Lisa and I asked her to give me an estimate because I need for my budget purposes, and she hasn't responded back on that. So that's all I have. Do y'all have any questions?
Mayor,
Go
can we
ahead.
get a copy of these reports, everything that you just mentioned?
Sure.
In writing, please? Thank you.
Anything else, Leslie? You know, I told you that we need to look at that, for the services, that's the inspection and all.
Oh, yes.
We're way over on that. But we'll get to that in the budget too.
Okay.
And
Anyone else have any questions?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
this is not a question, but I heard I mentioned something about one of the contracts, someone said something about the soil is too soft. We really need someone to sort of explain this to us, a contractor, engineer, or someone who knows what.
You mean now this is for the station?
Yes.
For the police, yeah, because that's what they told me, but I have no knowledge of that.
Because there may be some other alternatives to this, something else that we can do instead of just requesting more money. So I don't know what we're gonna do, we don't have anyone.
Darryl, do you know anything about it? I mean,
Yes, when we had the meeting with them, if some of y'all may recall, there was a bunch of dirt just dumped behind the station that was just out of ditch dirt. And it's real gummy, real soft, and the soil is not really packed itself, so to speak, is what everyone thought over the years. And we wasn't aware that we'd be building anything that had building at that time, but Public Works have dumped a bunch of just junky dirt back there. So what they're saying is they're gonna have to either dig down, do some pier beams, that's gonna have to cost a lot of money, that's probably maybe 10 to 15 feet down in the ground, keep stabilization of the building, or we would have to come in with some other type of structure. I'm not an architect, a lot of that wording got past me, but that's mostly what I understand about it. They're going to dig down, put some pier beam down in the ground, about 15 to 20 feet, to keep the building stable, and then we'll have to do some other type of structure.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to hear something from the architect. There are several things that can be done. You can do an actual floating
yeah, I
slab.
understand.
You can do lime stabilization, lime injection. Those are two different things, but let the architect come back and tell us what our options are.
You know, this is a project that started off like gonna be for $150,000. I mean, this is just 4 walls, it's a storage building, I mean, it's not just crazy, huh?
It's my understanding, the architects talk about a CMU building, concrete block building, so therefore you're gonna have more weight on those beams. We originally started talking about metal buildings, so how do we get away from building metal buildings?
Well, I think we went to talk about the blocks because of the security, you know, that we didn't want somebody just being like a cantilever on a metal building, but still, in all, you're just talking about blocks building on a slab that's 4 walls and or a couple of windows and a big door on it, maybe a garage door type thing on it, but how much did we say we budgeted for it now?
We budgeted 750, but 600,000 of that is the police evidence room, and then the rest is for the generator. So 150 for the
Well,
generator and 600 for
I knew the generator wasn't god awful, but the building's just got.
But it also, Mayor, if I remember correctly, it has to be to a certain standard so the evidence will be.
Well, I understand that, Carol,
Like
but we're
air
still
conditioned
talking
or
about just
whatever.
4 walls and some shelves in it, and I understand the block construction. I do that, and I know it has to be climatized, doesn't have to be like it is in here, but what, 80 or so there, and not freezing or something in the winter, I mean. Yeah, that's exactly, and that's what. We're gonna get there. Brady got the other.
No, that's all.
Anyone else have any consent agenda? Take a vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda or
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
okay.
Second.
Okay, Fred made the motion, Carolyn seconded, any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Against the same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Payne, you're up. Ms. Julia Payne, she's from Tanglewood, gonna give us some good stuff today.
See, I told you 3 minutes, just wouldn't have done.
Yes.
Okay, some of the concerns Mr. Reynolds and I have already spoken about, and he's working on some of the solutions. The other thing I need to come up with, or bring to your attention is, before the drainage was fixed from the school side, there's a lot of road damage that was done, especially on Doris Street, but in other streets also. So I'm asking the city to kind of look into it, maybe we can get some repairs, some potholes filled, some places that need paving instead of rocks. The other thing I wanted to talk about was traffic, okay? This is before the schools are open and the traffic is already nightmarish. And I'm sure some of you have traveled through the 2025 bridge during peak traffic hours, and there's some people who are going 10 miles out of their way just to avoid that road. The lights, they are working, but I've sat through 5 light cycles, red light cycles, to get up to a green light that only lasts 40 seconds. So if the person who's dazed off on their phone at the red light turns green and they spend 30 seconds, nobody gets through, okay? And the left turns, the other thing is the quick lane. When people want to exit the quick lane, they're just cutting in, okay? They're causing hazards because they want in, the people who are waiting in line, they don't want to let people in. And you've got the 18-meters coming off the northbound side making the right turns. There's not enough room for them to make a good right turn. So there's things happening in that direction. I don't know what the city can do about it. You know, we all know the bridge needs to be wider and it wasn't a great bridge to start off with. Then the other question, since the school board members are here, maybe they have an answer for me. The main entrance and exit, my understanding from the beginning was that was not to be 2025. So we ran into a halt because of the elevation project. It doesn't sound like it's gonna happen, so I'm curious as to where.
I can address that just a little bit.
Okay.
You know, we initially, were gonna put a road through, that would come out, and you could get back on 69 or 59.
Right.
And there, you could go north and, and initially that was $1 million or so dollars, and now it's, in the neighborhood of 11 million.
Yes, sir.
So that's out of our reach.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna say it's out of the school's reach, because I'm not gonna talk to the school, but we know that we need TxDOT, we need the state of Texas, we need our representatives, our senators to help with that road. Won't help you right now, because you're talking probably 2 years, at least, probably 3. I mean, it's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Right.
Hopefully the chief can take care, or maybe we can take care of some of the issues by either closing that street or putting signs on it. Well, I don't know, can you put post signs there, no through street, no, I mean, I'm assuming people are trying to go through there to get to
There's been a lot of traffic, that's why I'm kind of wondering, where the main, where, we're gonna eventually direct them instead of 2025. Because there has been a lot of traveling through the neighborhood. Closing off the park road will help a little bit, but it's, I'm ambivalent on that one because it's not halting the traffic. They've still got Helen Street. There's other accesses, okay? It's kind of a weird thing because we haven't experienced it yet, but I can tell by north side's traffic prior to school being out that, it can become a traffic jam. I remember 59 being Washington and getting up 3 hours early to get in the traffic. Yes, y'all remember this too. But it is also the neighborhood behind us, and I drove by today and saw the drainage part of it. Okay, my concern there is when we go back to normal rainfall, that's gonna flood every time. Because the Michael Street kind of has a tilt to it, and then it goes down, and the ditch on the other side hasn't handled the rainfall that we've already had in the past.
Well, schools got engineers, we've had people who, I think, I don't know, I don't suppose anybody will know if we get some of these rains here, but I think they will get, all right, Carter, Kelly, that should. And I'm not saying that Ms. Payne, if it doesn't, then we're gonna take care of it, the school's gonna take care of it.
Okay.
I mean, we're not, anybody
I'm
out
just
there hurt anybody.
Yeah, no, I'm just bringing your kind of awareness to it because I have lived there for over 40 years. That was my one and only goal, was to get a house paid for and have my sanctuary, which is now gone. But we'll work on it.
Once the school's there and they get it, all the grass and get it all done, I think you'll be happy. I really do.
Okay.
I mean, it's progress. I mean,
I know. That was why we put the zoning into effect, was to control progress instead of progress control us.
And it's probably gonna be a learning process with Daryl, the school, and everybody, when we start putting people out on that 2025 in the afternoons and in the mornings when they're going in, it's probably gonna be all hands on deck trying to get that taken care of. But I think it could. Daryl, you gotta tell me.
Well,
the traffic that's trying to go into Tanglewood now, do you think it's trying to go there because people are trying to get an easier way to get to the 2025 bridge? You think that's what it is?
There's a lack of school that you're building, and anytime you build a road, people are exploring, people are just looking, people are just driving through, trying to find out what the school is at. So I mean, getting a routine now for the school year. I mean, so there's a lot of people that.
Daryl, do you think now, we had one thing thought about closing the road, closing, what was it?
Children and cars, just go to days into the park. And I really support that wholeheartedly, agree to say that a lot of communities, when they do developments, they would do things like that. It helps on the police side a lot of times because people don't tend to travel through the neighborhood because they feel like they will get in traffic or they will be gone. And it does help to eliminate a lot of through traffic. So cul-de-sacs, things like that, a lot of people don't look at it, but whenever there's developments made, and it's a lot of good use for police officers and for a community to be more of a community embedded, more like
Well, I
an
just
environment,
wanted from this paint.
instead of just a drive through and cut to.
Well, part of the traffic too is coming from the 59 area. So, in this back neighborhood, so they come through to go to the little store that's on the other side to avoid going 2025 and around. And some of them are to get to 2025 to avoid the light. They're coming through the neighborhood because
But they're
they've
still
been here as long as
having,
we
they
have.
still hit the feeder and have to go to the.
No, they're coming from the feeders,
Oh, okay.
going through the neighborhood to get over to 2025 so they can avoid that corner.
Wait, that's on the agenda.
Good. Okay.
Fine.
So basically, that was pretty much what I want to talk to y'all about, was, you know, and the drainage was just finished recently, so, and no, we haven't had any rains yet, I don't know what's gonna happen. It might be cool, and it may be all right, I hope it is. But it's just something to kind of bring awareness to, ask for the streets.
Well, we will, for sure, Robert knows right now when we may get enough, but we're gonna monitor that, and so will the school. I mean, they pay engineers big bucks to keep that from happening. And I think they've done some work out there, haven't they?
Well, on our streets in the neighborhood where the damage has been done from the runoff.
Well, and we'll see to them, see what we can do on that.
Okay, I thank y'all for your
Thank you,
time,
Ms.
thank you for listening to me. Y'all have a good evening. Safe day. Safe son.
I'm gonna swap around, can we swap around, is that all right, council, or do you? Go ahead, come on, go ahead, we're not gonna swap around. This is, item 5 is the consideration and possible action on recommendation from the Health Benefits Committee for insurance bids from the recent RFP and awarding bid for medical insurance for the city employees and retirees for the fiscal years 2022 to 2023, with no change in dental, vision, or life vendors. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I appreciate you taking time to hear from me today. My name is Chuck Robinson. I work with Gallagher Benefit Services, and Gallagher is the broker that works with Cleveland and helps with all of the benefits that they offer employees. And part of our process each year is to go out to market for those benefits that are up for renewal. We met with the benefits committee back in May, briefed them on kind of how the plans were running, and we actually got approval from the city council to go out to market for the medical. At that time, we also got approval not to market the dental and vision benefits because those benefits we've already received rate passes from MetLife and Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is the dental, the vision, and the life and disability benefits. And the feedback we've gotten from the city is that employees are happy with those benefits, and so trying not to change. We did not go out to market for those. So we went out to market for the medical, the fully insured medical, and received the sealed bids back on July 7th. Between July 7th and last Thursday, we worked with the different vendors. So Cigna's the current incumbent medical provider, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas also provided a competitive bid. We got the renewal from the Cigna. We got it negotiated down to a lesser amount. So the initial renewal was coming in at a plus 22%, and based on how the plan's been running, it's actually a warranted amount as far as that 22% increase. They came back with a 12% in the sealed bid. They want to keep the business, they want to continue the partnership, and then after we opened the bids, went back to Cigna and discussed what I thought it would take to get it renewed, was able to get it down to a plus 9%. We met with the benefits committee last week. We came to the table with a lot of different options and discussed what we could take a look at. But the benefits are a key piece to the city in retaining and attracting talent. And the benefit committee came back with the recommendation to renew the 2 benefit plans. There's 2 medical plans. There's a buy-up PPO plan, which is the same medical plan that the city has offered for many years now. And then there's a base PPO plan that we added 2 years ago with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then we moved to Cigna last year. So the recommendation from the committee is to move forward with renewing those 2 same plans without making any plan design changes, and for the city to absorb the increase in cost. But I'm here to answer any questions. I want to make sure that I address any questions or concerns that you might have. But after talking with Leslie and Jennifer on the committee, it's my understanding that they actually budgeted more than that because of what we expected when we met back in May and what we were expecting. So a 9% increase is just slightly above what we see as far as medical trend each year. So each year we're seeing medical trend go up about 7% each year. And I actually think it's a very fair renewal, but I'm here to answer any questions. And
but it's total 9%.
9%.
Probably a great job.
9%, put that in dollars.
Dollars, that's going to be roughly just over $92,000, based on current enrollment and those that are enrolled in the plan. So
That's in our budget presently, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Yes.
Karen, you were on that, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah, she had actually budgeted more than that, thinking it was gonna come in higher, so.
So we're keeping the same
Yeah,
we
benefits.
met.
Go ahead.
When we met with Chuck, I asked him how much did he think it was gonna go up, and he couldn't even give me a definite percentage, so me and Angela came up with 15%. So that's what I budgeted for, 15%, and then he came back and gave us some news, so that's good news.
Good news.
So we're in good, should be in good.
Yes.
Thank you, Chuck, for
Oh, it's
making
a
that
pleasure.
happen for us.
Council, have any questions of Chuck on
No questions. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve, the insurance for the benefits.
Second,
you second, Karen?
I mean,
Motion from Marilyn,
Yes.
seconded from Carolyn. Any other discussion by council? All those in favor, raise your right hands. Against, the same sign.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll get busy on
Thank you,
getting these
appreciate it.
renewed for the employees for the upcoming year. You guys have a good
thank you, Chuck, appreciate it.
Item 6 is discussion and possible action on agreement with Base Council to reset monuments that have fallen over in the Cleveland Memorial Cemetery. We have our man in the business, Steve. Come on up with it.
Good evening. I think I know everybody except for maybe one or two, but I'm Wes Smith. I work with Pace Stansel. This is something that we've talked about for a couple of years now, and everybody's kind of sees a need for it. But unfortunately, the cemetery over time, the ground's bad, like the dirt yard talking about behind the police station. It's bad over there too. So
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't think those guys are joking about the dirt, how bad it is. But yeah, exactly. I mean, we do that on some of them, believe it or not. But I haven't even walked the whole cemetery, but I've identified well over 36 monuments that are completely falling over. And, some of the names, a lot of them are pretty old monuments. And so I'm sure it's a case that there's probably just not anybody left in those families to care for them. And, it looks bad. It's a bad reflection on our community. Robert's had lots of folks call and kind of complain. Miss Carolyn, she's talked to me about it. We get calls at the funeral home. Sometimes people mistake that we own the cemetery because of Stansel Park being next door. And so, we have fixed monuments out there in the past and still continue to do that when our guys are out there, try to do that. But we kind of felt like if if y'all would partner with us and help us with the cost of doing, bobby pinning and painting, and we talked about kind of come up with the 12. And so, and I talked to you about it, Richard, before, is that if y'all would be willing to help us with the labor and materials and stuff to fix 12 of them, obviously we like to be good neighbors in our community, and we will donate the material and labor to fix an additional 12. And so it's a pretty extensive deal to do that. So basically, once we've identified the ones that need to be fixed, we'll go out there and offset them. Our guys will come in and set a form and do the concrete work. And then once that sets up, they will come back and then reset the monuments and clean them up. And
Wes, this will be in all of our cemeteries, right?
yes, sir. But the good thing is our other cemetery in town is in a lot better shape than the one over here, and that's a good thing. And so this is probably something that we may want to, we may need to, because we're not going to be able to fix them all. And so it's probably something that like you and I talked about before. If we do a little bit this year, then next year we can do a few more, and then hopefully within a few years we can have everything looking a lot better in both of those cemeteries. So, because like I say, it just looks bad when you go out there and there's stuff just laying over. I mean, it just gives the impression that nobody cares, and that's absolutely not the case. And I understand that y'all spend a lot of money to keep the grass mowed and weed and everything, and since that new company is kind of stepped in, well, that's really helped y'all. It looks really nice.
We don't have those falling over either.
Yep. So, but that's kind of the plan. I sent a lot of pictures of a handful of them to Robert just so that he could see the ones that it's pretty obvious that they've been there for a long time, laid over. So some of them we got to dig out of the mud. I mean, there's some of those monuments out there. Just to give for reference, they will stand about 2 feet tall, and there's some of them that are so sunk up that there's only about that much above the ground, and eventually they just won't be there anymore. We've actually dug graves and found pieces of monument 3 and 4 feet down. You hit something and you're like, what is that? And it's actually somebody's footstone or something like that. So the ground is in bad shape. So.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you have to contact the families before
No,
you
ma'am.
touch these monuments?
No, ma'am, because it kind of falls under just general maintenance of the cemetery. So when you operate a cemetery, some cemeteries are set up like we own a cemetery that's out off of 2025, and so the way the law works and the fact of kind of ownership of the cemetery is that we can go in and fix or repair or move anything that we can, and y'all can as well. You can actually send them a bill if you want, but the problem is most of these, if there was someone around in their family, because we do have families contact us periodically through the year, not just in the city cemetery, but in the community cemeteries, and so our guys are always busy, fixing headstones and that.
So Wes, our people can't really go out there and.
Well, they could, but I think the concern was before is being that it was the city, there was that concern of the liability if something broke because they're not used to dealing with the monuments and things, and our guys are trained, and obviously if we, it's not easy to break something, but if we break something, we're gonna fix it. So I think that was the issue with your guys doing it. But I'll be glad to give them a training course on it though, so.
We'd rather you do it, and we'll pay you to do it.
Just for reference, my understanding is it is a city cemetery, and so we can do maintenance and repairs, we can't do improvements.
My question is, you mentioned 24, how many do we have altogether?
I would have to get a better count. I counted about 36, and I stopped counting because I knew we had kind of talked about starting off with a smaller number this go round. So what we were going to do is I kind of identified the ones that are the worst, and if we fix those first, the ones that are in the worst shape. Yes, sir.
We do so many this year and so many.
Yes, sir. That way it's not a big expense for the city or for us, for that matter too. So since we're donating some of it, But, you know, this is, you know, one good thing about the drought is it's the perfect time to do it, because there's lots of times in June and July, that cemetery is dead.
Absolutely.
Well, you make a comment, we would do a total 12 markers selected by us. My concern is, you do 24, and there's 20 left. Someone's gonna say, why, why?
Well, we'll tell them we'll catch them next year. Fred.
That's right, just tell them we'll catch them next year.
We're wanting them all to be done right. I think that's my thing. is
Absolutely, yeah.
Over time, get them all.
I mean, we're happy to do more if y'all want to spend a little more money, but, you know, we were trying to do something that would be a little more, that would be manageable for the city and not kill your budget out there at the cemetery, so.
Right. Absolutely. Mayor, you need a
That's
motion.
right,
Yes.
yeah, you do.
I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with this and thank Pace Stansel for helping.
Second.
Carolyn? Second. Any discussion from council? I have a motion from Eddie, a second from Carolyn. All those in favor, right hands, same as against. You already got, you had. Thank you, Ed.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mary, you want to come on in? Item 7, discussion and consideration and possible action on request to discontinue the Boston Memorial Library membership fees. Turn it over to Mary.
Previously in the past, well, I will just say, when I first started using the library in the 70s, the library did not charge our family a fee when we lived outside the city limits. And then it was $5 for a single card, $10 for a family. It has been $10 for a family for quite some time, or $10 for a single card. Several years ago, it went up to $15, and when it did that, we had a huge drop-off in people that were obtaining library cards. To me, the library is a resource to the citizens, not just of Cleveland, but in the surrounding community. We have a lot of people that have a Cleveland address. They identify as Cleveland as their home. We do not charge for parks. We do not charge for the splash pad when people come from outside the city limits. In the past, we've had people make comments that, well, they need to pay something. So I've been keeping track of how much we collect. Before we went to $15, we were collecting $5,000 a year. When we went to $15, because the city needed to generate more revenue at that time, we went to where we were collecting $3,000. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've collected close to $1,000, $1,500. It's a minimal, to me, almost the benefit of good PR for the city of Cleveland that said that yes, you can come in and check out books. We still will charge a fee. The city of Liberty does not charge for their library cards. Oftentimes, people will go to New Caney and use their library because they're not charged. And what we wind up telling people, which is also shooting ourselves in the foot, go to New Caney, get a library card. Come back and ask them for a tech share card. They bring us the tech share card, you get a library card from the city for free. We're also giving away free cards for people that are over the age of 65, under the age of 18, they work for a school district, or they are disabled with proof of disability. So there's really not a lot of people that we're charging for. It's been an accepted practice going on over 10 years that libraries have gone away with this practice. Now they're even getting rid of fines and fees, and I'm not ready to go there. I think they should be penalized if they don't return stuff. But I just think that it would be a good thing for the city of Cleveland to stop charging a $10 membership fee. It makes it very difficult with the new subdivisions that are going in. People will say they live inside the city limits. They'll tell us their street name, and it's not something that we're familiar with. We don't always get a current list of the new street names. People think that if they pay South Cleveland water supplies, water bill, that they're in the city, but they're not. And it just makes it a little hard with people coming up there to the front desk, and unfortunately, I think the front desk staff handles it very well. But people do get a little angry, and it would be nice just to give
Probably
everyone.
spend more issue the cards than
We do.
the $1,000 or so to bring it in.
Yes.
I totally agree, and we have so much social media now, people have other ways of reading and researching now, and I think it would be a great service for the city as well.
I do too.
So, that said, I would like to go ahead and make that motion that we discontinue.
I second that.
Garland made the motion, Eddie seconded it. Council, any more discussion from council? All those in favor, raise their right hand. Against, the same sign. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Now, we are going to skip. I'm going to let Jim come on up and talk about, this is item 9, consideration and possible action on the in-kind or reduced fee facility use request from Leadership East Texas Incorporated, classes to be held at the Civic Center starting September 2022 and going through April of 23. Jim Carson, he's president.
As you know, Leadership East Texas was started, actually classes started in 2021. First class graduated in April this year, and most of the city council members were there. The purpose of Leadership East Texas is to seek out, develop, and train local leaders so that they're the future of our community. They not only learn leadership skills, but they also develop relationships with each other so that kind of pull all the communities together. Now, last year we had the Civic Center was donated to us. We meet the second Tuesday of each month for September, October, November, January, February, and March. And then in April, we have a graduation luncheon. Now, the meeting is uses a quarter of a ballroom. And I just want to make clear to people, because I had one person that question, everyone that works for Leadership East Texas does not make as much money as City Council does. We are all volunteers. The officers this year, I'm the president and chairman of the board. Stephen McCandless is chair-elect. Jay Rice is past chair. Carrie Douglas, financial director. Celeste House is secretary. And Chris Jarman of Liberty, City of Liberty, is a director. And then once we get a permit, usually we have the permanent city manager will be also asked to join as the director too. Our classes that we go for sponsorships, and our classes are all, most of ours are scholarships that are given to the people. And it's through our sponsorships and any of the grants. You know, we've got, so far we've got 2 grants this year. One from Christian Missions, which was $10,000. And then one from Entergy, which was $1,000. And we've got some other grants in progress. But in case anyone needs a copy, we're 501c3. I've got a budget and our financials. I'll show you the copy of where all our money's going. The class starts at usually between 8 and 8:30. We serve breakfast for all the class members and everything, and anybody that's there. And we also serve lunch. And then they're out of there usually by 4 o'clock. And if you've been to Campbell Park, that was their class project this year, improving Campbell Park. And they worked with the school district and got that mural put in there too. And a lot cheaper than I think the city paid for the road. So, just my background, and people know that I was with the chamber, but my background in the last 45 or 50 years, I've gone into companies that were broke and fixed them, and I've started up new companies. And I did that with the chamber. As most of you know, the chamber was in bad shape back in 2015. And when I left, it was in good shape. And so that's why we were excited, the chamber, to initiate this thing to get it started. But we operate on a tight budget, and we don't have any puff in anything we do. And Carrie says, can I get a new chair because hers is broken? You guys got a real nice chair, so we'd like to do the same thing in kind, and we advertise that in everything that we do. Our members, we have Cleveland ISD, City of Cleveland, the Tarkington ISD, City of Liberty, Liberty County Judge, and we also have the Southside Bank as a sponsor, and Prosperity Bank's a sponsor, and Hickory is a sponsor, and then Energy is a grant this year, and we've got a couple other grants pending.
Ashley, do you have any problems with them having it? Ashley, do you have any problems? You're the boss of the city centers.
I don't have an issue with them using it. I mean, I was one of the graduates from this year's class. I see it from both sides as far as, city is there and the Civic Center is there to make the revenue. We've always been that to make the revenue. This is a benefit, to find leaders and to enhance leadership within the community. So I kind of see it from both sides. I'm kind of just the mediator person between the two entities, but I'm great with whatever council decides. Yes.
So what will be the reduced price if,
Zero. Yeah, it was zero last year, and we haven't,
No.
we don't have it in our budget.
it says here, on in-kind or reduced fee, so if there was the fee for the room.
So with the rental fee of the Civic Center for the 7 days that they have, the rental fee would actually be $2,630. Half of that would be $1,315. I don't know as far as what council is wishing to do or wanting to do, but the total price for their rental would be $2,630. So.
Jim, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, you got something from EDC this year, right?
Yeah, they didn't do a sponsorship this year. They just sent one member. So they just basically picked someone. $750, yes.
Okay, and if an individual said, okay, I want to join, what would it cost that individual?
$750.
I thought you were charging somebody $1,000.
No, it's $1,000 for a sponsorship.
Okay, I just saw a letter that said, okay.
Yeah. $1,000 for a sponsorship. The sponsorships are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and $5,000. And most of our sponsors are like $1,000. The cities and the municipals are $1,500 each. And then the grants, we always try to get between $3,000 and $5,000 per grant. And the first one we got was from Energy for $1,000.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I know we're dealing with a 501c3, but there may be other 501c3 organizations that approach us. And I think we need to set a policy that if we're going to do for one, we need to do for another. I understand that they're using 1/4 of the ballroom and that the deposit is $175, rental fee is $350. And I think that we ought to cut that to 1/4, because what we have to do is to pay the water bills, sewer, the lights, electricity. We have to pay people to open, close, clean up, and so forth. So it's a cost to the 8,000 citizens that we have here that they're footing the bill for someone else. So I think that if 1/4 is enough to and actually you have to tell me whether that actually pays the bill for anybody that uses the Civic Center. 1/4 of it. If not, then we need to raise that.
1/4 of the ballroom is $350 for the rental fee. So, we have a lot that come to us for in-kind use. I know that council back in 2016 or 2018 did an in-kind policy.
Right.
That in-kind policy may be something that needs to be revisited if we do decide that we need to start charging for,
Absolutely.
in-kind uses.
Right.
Then we need to put that out there to all citizens.
Right.
That, this is what it is. Because not only do they come for us for Civic Center, but we do have Stansel and we do have Municipal Park as well. And they do ask for in-kind for all three of those entities that do make revenue.
But I know we have an expense here, and I'd like to meet the expense. I'm not trying to make money. I'm trying to basically keep the doors open, pay the people that
The
are
staffing
operating,
billing,
and make sure that the citizens are not out money for something else, for someone else.
Correct.
So, I'm assuming that 1/4 is enough to pay that bill.
If that is, yes, if that's council's decision, if that's what you're.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
Well, it's a great program though, and then what they did at the park has a value too.
Right.
What y'all took care of at the park.
I'm not.
I mean, if there wants to be
I
a
understand.
set
Great
fee,
deal.
maybe a set fee for 501s or, for in-kinds or nonprofits, should I say?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a set fee.
Right.
Versus, determining what their actual rental fee would be in 1/4. Maybe, with it being $350, they pay $125. I mean, something to that extent, because if we're gonna break it down versus, they're using 7 days and breaking it down for the whole rental fee, we may just need to have a set.
But if you add the 175 and the 350, it's 525.
525,
And
correct.
1/4 of that is $131.50.
Correct, and it may be
Go ahead.
How did we establish these fees?
the fees were voted on by council.
As an ordinance or resolution or?
I wanna say, I'm not quite sure, that was prior to me.
And of course, they
Yes,
don't have over
that was
the years.
prior to me. I think when the Civic Center was established, the fees were set through maybe an, a ordinance, I guess.
Well, my suggestion is if this is the direction you wanna go ahead and find that it serves a public purpose and benefits the city to do this, and then perhaps direct staff to formalize their fee structure. That sounds like maybe you could use a refresh or something.
Okay, and is it council's wish to do something just for nonprofits or 501c3s? That we can revisit those fees?
Yeah, I don't think you need to make a policy tonight, if you just
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
decide what you wanna do at this request.
Yes.
Jim, what's that gonna do to y'all?
We'll probably have to use another source because we don't have anything in our budget. Our net profit after everything for the whole year, and if we don't have any unforeseen expenses, and I've got the budget here, is $225 at the end of the year.
I got a question.
Yes.
Your quoting number especially, is that per day or for the 7 days?
It's per day. Our fees are per day. The
No, I
rental
thought I
fee.
heard you say something.
But
2,000.
they're renting it for 7 days, so it's $350 times the
7
6
days.
day, yeah, 7,
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
yes.
I personally think it's money that we get. They do the park, they've done, I don't know what project it'll be this year, Jim, but.
The plan's always the size of the project.
It's a project that helps the city.
What do you do with the next 501c?
Well, we just have to look at it.
So I think we should look at it now. I mean, we wanna do this right. We wanna do this right, and I totally agree with Dan and the attorney as well. And we do need to go back and revisit this.
And I did have another one, and I just talked with Jennifer and Leslie. We did have another one that came in that's wanting to utilize the municipal park for another
Which we've always in the past done.
nonprofit organization.
We've always.
But for me, I feel like if there's something set in stone for us, we don't have to
Have to worry
wishy-washy
about
back
it.
and forth, we can just tell them. Because it does make it hard on the facilities and the director, me, being able to say, well, no, this is, we can't do this, or we can't do that, and then somebody else comes and then they get the arena or something like
Right.
that. So I do want to have something in place to say that, looking at all the fees and say that, if it's a nonprofit that comes in and they're wanting to, utilize the arena, this is what your nonprofit rate would be for a rental fee.
How old is the civic center? How old is the civic center?
2007 or 8.
So is it clear? Do we have a mortgage? Do we have a debt on it? Do we pay something every year for the cost of this building? I think we did.
Yeah, we're still
I
paying.
think so.
We're still paying
Yeah,
for
we're
it.
still paying on it.
We're still paying for it.
And we help pay for that by what we charge.
Yes.
That's correct.
I appreciate 501c3, and I'm not trying to rule them out. And I appreciate Mr. Carson and what y'all do and how y'all have helped us. But I think we're gonna have to visit this and make it more permanent, so staff will not have any problems. I'm gonna make a motion right now that 1/4 of this ballroom, that they would pay 1/4 of that for the upkeep, for the cost and so forth, which would be $131.50. And I'd like to put that in a motion.
And I second that.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Council?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we've got a 501(c)(3) nonprofit corporation coming to EDC, which is also a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, asking for donations. That doesn't seem right to me.
The difference is that they're a city entity to the Fred. The EDC basically is funded by the city.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
They're by tax, quarter
You
percent
can
in
call it a
tax.
tax, they take 1% out of our budget.
We funded the
We funded Fred.
but we collect the taxes,
Yeah, we do. It is. It's a quarter, 1%. That's where they get it. It just, to me, it was strange that you got one asking another one to help you out. And we got a civic center that we paid for quite a bit. And the way we were paying for that is when we charge the rates.
But we can make EDC pay if you want to.
I'm
I have no
sorry. I'm sorry.
problem with that.
I didn't hear you.
I said we can make EDC pay that 1/4 if you want to.
I'm afraid I don't understand what you're saying.
He says, the thing that's right now, what we're talking about tonight is what Jim's saying, we're either gonna have the program or they're gonna go somewhere else. I don't know, Jim, could you put the more money towards the program? I mean.
It would, I'll have to talk to the board to see if we can raise more funds, get another sponsor or something for it.
I mean, I don't wanna kick y'all out.
No, I
I don't
understand.
want you not to have the
I
program.
understand, I understand, yeah.
So,
As I said, I've been turning around business for years, so I understand your dilemma.
Yeah, I'm not against the program at all. I'm
Yeah, I
just trying
understand,
to
and
change the
I
lights.
follow what you're saying.
And I have a question on that. So we would just be charging our nonprofits just the rental fee?
Yeah.
Correct, not the deposit?
No.
Okay, that's what I know.
I mean,
Maybe we need to visit.
We need to look at
Just
that.
look at it.
We need to visit this.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just dealing with this one entity,
Or
this
you
one
can
deal.
look up.
With Jim,
Tonight.
and if we did the 7 days, it would be $657.50. That's what I'm looking
Well, we have a motion from Eddie and a second from Marilyn.
Right.
We're out of discussion. No more discussion.
Any other discussion then? All those in favor?
Just that we.
Go ahead.
No, just that we get the opportunity. Just that we get the opportunity to go ahead and review the policy or the ordinance that's in place for the in-kind.
That's what Eddie's motion is gonna be.
Now, that's for this one entity.
Yeah.
And not trying to do the whole.
We're not
okay.
trying to set policy here.
Just
We need to revisit this.
Yes.
Jim, can y'all get on that? I mean.
How much is it now?
at.
$57.50.
The 2630 and 1/4 of that would be $657.50.
Okay. I'll get the Squeeze yourself. Let's see what we get.
Mayor,
Okay.
Still got the motion from Eddie, the second from, go ahead, Leslie.
so I know that we also give them 1,500 as a sponsorship. Maybe next year we don't give them that and we just let them have the facility.
Facilities.
We'd rather keep things up on board and say this is what it is, even though we donate to them, they
Okay.
can spend their money
Yeah.
wherever they want to.
I mean, anything you go to, you know, the expenses are there. You know, the AC's going, and everything's going, there's expenses to, and I know there's expenses, it's sitting there closed too, but.
Right.
Yes.
But we got a motion from Eddie, a second from Marilyn. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise their right hand. Against the same sign. Jim, appreciate you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Item 8 is consideration and possible action on placing a barricade on Mildred Street in an effort to alleviate additional traffic through the Tanglewood neighborhood due to the Northside School opening this fall. Now let Darrell talk.
Thanks, Mayor Council, while you're tonight, I just again would like to reiterate that I think is that we anticipate that school opening, there's going to be a lot of traffic. And I didn't get an opportunity a moment ago to say, if there's an accident between Helen Street where you mainly go into the front side of Tanglewood, between the entrance to Northside School and Helen Street, if there's an accident between there, you can anticipate there's going to be some, because the traffic's going to be backed up all the way back to the light almost. And that would create problems for people having to cut through Tanglewood. That's why I supported the barricade or some form of keeping that in a neighborhood type environment instead of having it a cut through. And you're gonna have those that are gonna try to get ahead of the other cars because parents are running late and kids are almost tardy. They're gonna try to cut through because they figure it's a lot shorter than having it one car at a time to get into the main entrance. So I would strongly support having that closure there at Mildred, at the dead end, north of Dorr Street. I think that would really benefit a lot of the community people. There's no sidewalks in that community. Some of those kids and students may be walking to class that live in that community. And with all the traffic going through, you can handle the potential for some kid or pedestrian to get and even the bicyclists. So I strongly would encourage.
Now, that's not a permanent barricade, it's a temporary, right?
Well, it could be a permanent, I mean, and giving that neighborhood more of a subdivision type feeling and environment, instead of having people cutting through all the time, like, the young lady said earlier, they cut through from 59.
What about emergency vehicle, something like that?
And my purpose was saying I encourage it because I foresee it being a problem for first responders at all. And I know when this first came up, Sean and I were here and talked about it. There's still an entrance to go around by the park to go through the main entrance to get in. So it's not going to hinder us in any point as far as first responder. There's several other entrances within the Tanglewood as well as getting into the school.
Do you have some idea what it costs for a permanent barrier?
Shouldn't be very much. There's one right here at the corner of 1010 and Harding Street, just
Yes.
kind of a board that area.
There's one at Taft and Southline.
Yeah. That's one of those.
Well, Darrell, do you think, other than that, could you just put signs up there that no through traffic, or they just ignore it?
That won't
Well,
work.
put signs around the
That
school,
won't work.
and signs on the
No. There might be a bit of potential to that.
So I hope
There's
the
only
mayor.
one house on that end of town.
And city council, I'll advise you that legally, putting up a barricade is acceptable, provided two things. One, that you determine that the barricade is rationally related to increasing safety, because there's safety concerns. So I would recommend that it reflect Chief Broussard's comments, if this is what you want to do. And secondly, it would have to be put up in accordance with the Texas Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, if this is what you want to do.
Kelly lives on that street. Kelly, you want to talk to us about it?
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know if this is working.
Your name?
My name is Kelly,
Kelly, actually.
and I supported you for council, so you need to listen to me.
Yes, I do live on that street, and it would be a benefit to the city because it would alleviate the traffic, which the traffic is going to disrupt the road, which is gonna need repair. It's gonna be a lot of traffic. Like Chief Broussard said, it's gonna cause a lot of traffic through there because people are gonna try to cut through to get to the school. So that's why I had suggested that we do this in the first place, and hopefully y'all would agree to this. And I don't see any, I mean, I'm not an expert on emergency situations, but there are many other ways that you can get in and out of Tanglewood. Yeah. So.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we entertain the idea of permanently blocking that street.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we permanently block that street.
Go ahead, Robert. Robert wants to.
I need to make a comment before we make this motion. Mr. Broussard and I, we met and we talked about this because I called and asked him, and just for first responders, would they be able to get in and out? And they have three ways to get in there and out of there, and two, sometimes traffic's going, like if they're after somebody, they've been cutting through there. But I just want to give one thing. Mr. Broussard was out sick because I asked him, could he supply me with a letter stating this, that we could put it in the records? And he was out sick, and then he came back in yesterday and brought me this letter, so it didn't make it in the packet. But for records, I have a letter here that was presented to Mr. Broussard.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a letter stating that it would be sufficient or would not hinder any kind of emergency vehicle traffic.
Correct.
Can I ask for clarification? It talks about Mildred Street, and I guess we're talking about the literally barricade being between the park and Doris, the little small section. It says barricade in Mildred Street. Mildred Street runs all the way back, but you're talking about barricading it all between Park Road and Doris. Is that correct?
There's a boat that runs around the park, we could go in and on Old Street.
You go in and around the park. Maybe you can show it.
The corner of the horseshoe.
Point it out, Chief.
That barricade is right here.
That's what I'm at.
Park is here.
You got a house right there.
There's one house right here.
Well, my map shows a house on the other side too.
Yes.
Yeah, there's.
So basically, the barricade is just gonna stop the traffic right at that little section right there.
Right, from going into the park.
From going into the park, which will go into the city.
So you can circle the park by going Park Street. The barricade would be right at that T.
But you can't get anybody going on that Mildred there.
Right, that we're getting everybody from going into the park or going down the north side.
So it doesn't block an actual street, it blocks an entrance to a park.
Absolutely.
It's northly. Which we
need to
want to be Cleveland, but.
Do we need to get any kind of, something from them?
No, because it's not on any of their, it's not anything to do with North Cleveland.
I would say several years back, we had an incident that occurred there at the store, most of maybe for me, and the exit of the robbers.
Yes.
Was that particular.
Same, yeah.
Trying to get back to people that.
And I did talk to the neighbors in Tanglewood, and everybody is absolutely for this. Yes.
I make my motion.
You made the motion, Eddie.
I make my motion again to permanently block that street.
Second.
Marilyn, you seconded? Okay, Eddie made the motion. Marilyn seconded. Any other discussion by council? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Again, same sign.
Thank you.
Item 10, to close the executive session under Texas Local Government Code 551-071, consultation with a lawyer or attorney. Close the executive session under Texas Local Government Code 551-072, deliberating the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real property to wit, Real property located generally north of the intersection of Blair Street and Burke Street, closed executive session. Code 551-074. Personnel matters to deliberate the applications or appointments for city manager.
Good night.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Willie. Fred, come on.
We don't need Fred. We got a warning.
But I don't want Fred one.
Fred might wanna ask something.
Eddie, do you have a motion?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
All right.